Peanut the Squirrel, Cats in a Dog's World, Turbo, Harry Potter, Obama, Inu Coin, SMP 6900, Mog Coin, Wen Coin, Dogecoin, Pepe.
Kia ora, I'm Davina Zimmer, and today on The Detail, Memecoin. Those are the names of real currency, and in mid-January, Trump coin was added to that list.
3 days before he took office, as Donald Trump was preparing for his inauguration, those close to him were also hard at work, launching a new cryptocurrency.
It's easy to laugh at names like Trump coin and Peanut the Squirrel, but for many in the digital finance world, meme coins are ringing alarm bells.
On-chain investigator CoffeeZilla has accused Haley Welch and the Hawk Memecoin team of scamming her fans.
These meme coins are launched on platforms like pump.fun, where there really isn't any value except for the hype of these coins.
Within 24 hours, Trump's token raked in as much as $14 billion in market cap. It was quickly followed by the launch of Melania's own crypto token, which saw a wave of inflows too. But as the president took office, the Trump token frenzy had many in the crypto community worried. They feared another meme coin craze could risk the legitimacy of an industry already beleaguered by scandal.
Let's start with the 101. Cryptocurrency is a digital currency that doesn't need a bank or a government to verify transactions. The idea is that it's regulated by the people who use it. A meme is a funny picture, video, or text that's shared online, usually on social media. Take the two, mix them together, and you've got Memecoin.
Or as many other people very affectionately call them, the shitcoins.
And so a meme coin is a type of cryptocurrency based on a meme. Its value is influenced by the popularity of the meme, and while the initial purpose was mere entertainment, their total market worth at the end of 2024 was close to $70 billion US. They've earned their alternative title in part because they operate on a decentralised system that is the perfect breeding ground for scammers. That's making some in the crypto world call for a crackdown on regulation.
The only way you're going to get wider spread crypto adoption is if you can clean it up.
But does that undermine the reason why cryptocurrency was created in the first place?
The problem is you've got to remember the background to crypto, right? Cryptocurrencies emerged because people wanted to create a world outside of the traditional financial system.
This is Rupert Carline, the founder of Coda Wealth, which is the only KiwiSaver scheme with a Bitcoin fund. I asked him if he would look at Memecoin as a viable investment.
No, short answer. Why? Because I don't see anything behind it. And the big question you should be asking me next is, why do you invest in Bitcoin then?
Yeah.
The truth is, Bitcoin has got 17 years now of history. It is increasingly emerging as the cryptocurrency that is here to stay, right? It's been seen as the new digital gold. We're now well past the world of pretending that it's a scam. I might be proven wrong, but at the end of the day, that's what we've taken our view. When I look at something like a Trump coin, a Melania coin, all I'm doing is investing in some hype.
On the night of Friday, January 17th, Trump token launched with a simple post on social media. Unlike Bitcoin, it didn't promise to protect against inflation or envision a future of decentralized money. Trump instead said that it would celebrate everything we stand for.
To win when you're investing in hype, that means I need to be very confident that I'm buying at the bottom and then I'm selling at the top. And that is just so hard to do. I'd be better off going to the casino, putting all my money on red, because every single card is stacked against me in the meme coin world, because the promoter or the creator of the coin are the ones that kind of control supply and demand. So late last year, we actually changed the name of our fund from a cryptocurrency fund to a Bitcoin fund, reflecting the fact that, in our view, Bitcoin stands out on its own as something that kind of we think is long-term, we think is sustainable. But I struggle to see why any of the meme coins are sustainable for the long run. And so they might make interesting trading opportunities, but good luck trying to win in that world.
And is that because, I guess you talk about centralised and decentralised system, that Memecoin is still largely in this decentralised system and unregulated? Is that why you don't see it as high?
Completely unregulated, and so that's massive issue number one. But I guess the problem with the meme coins is they don't pretend to be anything, right? When I invest, I like to have an investment case. So, for example, I'm going to invest in a company because I'm buying the future set of cash flows. I just can't come up with an investment case of why I invest in a meme coin when I have the likes of Doge, for example, where the founders and the creators have openly talked about the fact that it was built as a parody.
Let's go back for a minute to Memecoin's satirical beginnings.
Doge was the first one, so you've probably heard of that because it's Elon Musk's favourite thing in the world. It was created in 2013 as a bit of a parody of Bitcoin, where they created it and went, you know what, we're not even going to pretend that it does anything useful, we're not going to pretend that it's anything real, and we're going to name it after one of the most popular memes on the internet, the Doge.
The Doge is a meme featuring a photo of a Shiba Inu dog accompanied by text that represents a kind of internal dialogue of what the dog is thinking.
To be blunt, it was all set up to take the piss, taking advantage of the memes. They created this thing that was based entirely on story and on hype and social media and all of that great stuff, and all of a sudden it kind of worked.
Dogecoin got attention and support from some pretty high-profile people, and its success grew. Here's Tesla founder Elon Musk on a podcast explaining why he supports it.
It actually does have a much higher transaction volume capability than Bitcoin, and the cost of doing a transaction, the Dogecoin fee is very low.
By the way, Elon Musk has also just been appointed to run a new US department called the Department of Government Efficiency, aka Doge.
And now you've got something that's worth about $50 billion because people continue to believe in it, believe in the hype, and it goes from there. So that's effectively what created the Memecoin or the Memecoin world, and that's what continues to go. Currently, there are hundreds of thousands, if not millions, created every single year.
How do you make a meme coin?
It's actually really simple. I'm not a developer, but I'm pretty sure ChatGPT would be able to do it for me within 5 minutes if I really wanted to. You need to code up the coin on a blockchain.
A blockchain is the online system that stores and enables cryptocurrency transactions.
You can either do it on your own blockchain or you can use the Ethereum or Solana or Avalanche blockchains. Once you've created it, you list it, and you can list it on what we call a decentralised exchange, which basically means that they'll accept anything. There's no review, no nothing anyway. And then you go nuts on social media and you find someone to buy it.
So what does coding it mean?
So if they're done properly, which is a big if, they're kind of like smart contracts. So on a blockchain, you can create a code base which says if someone buys this, therefore they own 1 unit of this. And it all happens in a way which kind of means you don't need like a stock exchange with a share registry or anything like that, because all of these transactions and everything that happens is kind of stored on the blockchain. And so by coding it, you're creating the computer program that enables this thing to exist, and you're creating the computer program that enables it to keep updating, letting people buy and sell.
Let's say, for example, the Detail wanted to create the Detail meme coin.
Yeah.
How would we go about doing that? Like in layman's terms?
In layman's terms, what you would do is you would find yourself a developer that understood the blockchain.
Okay.
You would tell this person, I want to create a Detail blockchain. You might put some quirky stuff in there around going, it's going to give people, the first 1,000 people that invest, they actually get 1 million Detail coins versus 1 Detail coins.
Is there a limit that you can have?
No, you can do whatever you want. Okay. You literally can create anything you want. So you're going to tell your developer to do this. And then they're going to create effectively a computer program which represents your coin. Now you've got your coin, which exists on the Ethereum blockchain. So Ethereum or Solana or Avalanche are kind of 3 of the biggest blockchains. And so now it's just sitting there, right? Not doing anything. And so that's why what you need to do is the next step, where you can actually get that computer program or coin listed on a decentralized exchange, or even if you're really, really lucky, it might even go on a real exchange. And then it's all about convincing people to buy it.
So that's when, the Detail team would then go to social media and be like, hey guys, go onto this blockchain and buy this.
I mean, if I was doing it for the Detail, right, my story would be, hey, look, We are part of Radio New Zealand, which means that we're actually government backed, which actually means, you know what, we've got this really cool coin that we created, which is a Memecoin that's kind of effectively backed by Radio New Zealand. We've got a little bit of government support behind it. This is why it's credible. This is why it's real. You're going to get all of your kind of Radio New Zealand friends and people to support it, tell the same story. None of it's true, but people don't know that.
Is it the more people that buy it that increases the value?
Yep. So it's effectively supply and demand. So what I mean by that is if you're a smart promoter, what you're going to do is go, cool, we're going to do as much hyping as we can, but we're only going to let kind of X number, maybe 1 million coins be launched on that day. And then slowly we'll dribble out more coins over a couple of weeks or however we do it. The goal is to kind of figure out a way that you don't put out too many coins so that you kind of drive the hype. And if there's not enough supply, then the price goes up until it makes a price point. But at the same time, you want to make sure that you've sold enough coins quickly enough to, if you're legitimate, to make sure the project is real and sustainable. Or if you're just out for a scam, to make sure that you've made enough money to make your time worth it.
Right. Are you aware of New Zealanders investing in Memecoin?
There will be lots, is the short answer. Because one of the issues with the cryptocurrency world is they're very good at what we call the on-ramps and off-ramps. And so those kind of are becoming more and more highly regulated. And so if you've got a real exchange, for example, which is an Easy Crypto, Coinbase, Binance, so these are what we call centralised exchanges. These are big companies where people can go and buy and sell. Typically they interact with the traditional financial services system. And lots of people are doing that. We know that. Once I've got one of the cryptocurrency coins, whether it be Bitcoin, Ether, anything, I can then take that coin to one of the decentralised exchanges and effectively buy whatever I want. And so that's why I'm sure we don't know the numbers because it all happens kind of behind closed doors. There will be lots and lots of New Zealanders that are doing this. It's the analogy I give to people is once you're in that cryptocurrency world and once you've put your money in there, you kind of very loose regulation, not a huge amount happens that kind of controls. It's just hard to get your money in and hard to get your money out.
Let's talk more specifically about one certain meme coin. We'll get to Trump's in it, but I want to talk about one that it's a bit of an uncomfortable one. You probably don't want to talk about it. I probably also don't want to talk about it. The Hoktua, I hope I'm saying that right, influencer Hayley Welch's coin.
What's one move in bed that makes a man go crazy every time?
Hayley Welch is internet famous because of this video.
Oh, you gotta give him that hawk to it.
We'll stop that there, you get the idea. After going viral for that clip, Hayley decided to cash in and create Hawkcoin, which went downhill pretty quickly for investors.
A viral meme coin tied to Hawktua star Hayley Welch is at the center of a lawsuit. Investors claim the Hawk token promoted using Welch's fame wasn't properly registered as a security.
Arguably, it's just a standard old-fashioned pump and dump scheme, no different to anything that we've seen in financial services for forever, to be honest. So December 4th, she launched her coin. A lot of hype on social media. There would have been careful management of supply, unclear on exactly who was buying it. Were they real people buying it to drive up that price, or were they just some of the kind of the promoters and the people behind it? So it launched over the course of the day. It kind of the price increased up to it actually got to 550 million in market cap. That happened over the space of kind of the first day. By the start of the next day, it was back close to zero.
And so how did that happen?
Because all of a sudden there were no more buyers. Because you remember, if the only thing driving this thing is supply and demand, if there's a whole lot of demand on day one because of the social media hype, or potentially because the promoters are just buying it themselves, when those people stop buying, the price just absolutely tumbles because there's no more demand. In finance land, we call it pump and dump, where basically what you're doing is you're creating demand yourself to show people that it's popular, but it's actually all just you and it's happening behind closed doors. And then when you withdraw that demand, the price tumbles because there's no buyers.
So it was an intentional scam?
Well, that's the big thing that we don't know. She denies it, and she claims that she's going to help people kind of try and recoup their losses. With a lot of the stuff, and particularly because it's unregulated, one of the issues is you don't know how intentional or not it was. I've been involved in lots of IPOs and equity issuances over the years in my career. And even when we're doing an IPO and issuing shares for a new company, we're very careful about how many shares we offer on day one, when we do the next trades, et cetera, et cetera. So it's nothing new. It's nothing different. The problem is it's all being done in a very dark, unregulated space, which is different from kind of what we're used to.
Mm-hmm. And when the coin did crash, it was only the fans who invested who lost money. Talk to me a bit about that. Why?
Well, it's, again, coming back to my shares analogy, right? Because I can't remember the exact prices, but let's, for argument's sake, say the issue price was 5 cents. It got up to $1. And so if you're the one buying the coin at $1, and so you put $5,000 in at $1, when it crashes the next day, it's no longer worth $1. It's worth kind of like a quarter of a cent. So your $1,000 is now worth $2.50. That's kind of what happens, and that's how you lose, because the value of your investment has just completely tumbled, at worst fallen to zero.
And so how did Hayley and her, I guess...
Her promoters make money?
Get away without losing anything and making money?
Well, because they would have been the ones selling a whole lot of those coins all the way up to $1, to both themselves but also to externals. And so for every coin that they sold for $1, that's $1 of profit to them.
Oh, so they get a percentage of what people put in?
No, because if you've created it, so coming back to my the detail meme coin that we're creating, you've said, okay, well, on day one there's 100 million coins, and then we're going to kind of keep on creating more and more. If you can sell 100 million coins at $1 each, you've gone and made yourself $100 million.
But it's not really $100 million, is it? Because it's not actual money, right?
It is, because if you've got someone to pay you $1 for each of those coins, you have converted your meme coin into dollars for you.
So that's where it happens. So these people, they transferred Hayley $1 into her bank account and got one digital meme coin of hers back.
Exactly.
And then the next day, they don't get that money back if it crashes.
No.
They lost that $1.
No, exactly the same when I go buy shares on the stock exchange, right?
Yeah.
Today I'm buying Genesis shares at $5 a share. Genesis goes bust tomorrow. I can try and sell it for $0.
So when it crashes, she still gets to keep all that money that people paid her, but the meme coins that she sold have no value.
Exactly.
Right. So given as though there doesn't seem like there's anything to meme coins, why do people invest?
Because they believe they can trade their way through it. One of the biggest issues with investors is they have a massive confidence about their ability to pick the bottom and pick the top. And people buy this stuff because they love the story and they back themselves to get out before it all falls over. You'd be amazed at how many people kind of expect it to fall over, but they go, don't worry, I'll get out before that happens. Unfortunately, very few people do.
What's the general view of meme coins in the crypto world?
I'm a traditionalist. I spent 25 years in the traditional world, so that's why my view is they are basically, shit coins. They should be regulated. We've got to figure out a way to clean it up. The problem is you've got to remember the background to crypto, right? Cryptocurrencies emerged because people wanted to create a world outside of the traditional financial system. They wanted to create a financial system that had no government interference, that they didn't have to go through KYC, they didn't have to do all of the things that a lot of people hate about banks. And so for a lot of that traditional hardcore crypto world, their view is, these are awesome. This is exactly what we intended to happen. This is exactly what we wanted. This is exactly what we tried to create, because we want to have a world where people are allowed to go and buy what they want, sell what they want, free from government intervention and government regulation. That's what they want. And then you've got the people like me who go, hold on a sec, the only way you're going to get wider spread crypto adoption is if you can clean it up. And if actually regulation is going to be the best friend that could happen to clean up this industry, getting rid of a lot of the scams and a lot of that stuff that's happening at the moment is what's necessary. But the world around Donald Trump and the world around the MAGA movement is on the complete opposite end of the spectrum for where we are. They just say, buyer beware, it's up to you guys to figure it out.
And then I guess if you talk about wanting to regulate the area more, then that's kind of contradicting why crypto was created in the first place.
Exactly. Yeah. So all we've done is created a replica of what already exists in the current banking system.
Like $1 in my pocket.
Exactly. And increasingly that's where it's going. I mean, the fact that the thing that's given the biggest boost to Bitcoin over the last probably 2 years has actually been BlackRock.
BlackRock is the largest asset manager in the world with $11.5 trillion worth of assets. It has significant stakes in Bitcoin and, according to Rupert, is arguably the most hated entity in the crypto world.
It's a really hard one, right? Because as an industry, it's now getting so big, and it's kind of, as it gets closer to mainstream, regulation has to come, and regulation will come. And I guess one of my big fears around where we're going right now is, as the crypto fundamentalists regain control, we end up moving back into a world of scams and a whole lot of other things, which is going to actually reduce public confidence in the sector, which is not good for any of us.
Back to Trump and his new meme coin.
Trump says the coin celebrates, quote, winning.
But while the coin quickly surged in value, its launch didn't go down too well with the crypto bros.
People in the industry are reacting really negatively to this.
There's a lot of questions about what are they going to do? Who's going to actually make this money? Are there conflicts of interest?
He's epitomising the worst of this kind of world, right? He's already changed the head of the Securities and Exchange Commission, which is the regulator over in the US that looks after parts of this, or potentially looks over parts of this. He's created a whole series of executive orders around protecting the crypto industry and building a bigger, better cryptocurrency industry. And then he goes and does this, and it's kind of like he's just looking after himself. It's probably one of the most overt pieces of trading off his own name and trading off his own policy as you can possibly have. And I think that's where a lot of the anger comes from. It's kind of like, well, why? All you're doing by doing this is actually kind of reinforcing the views from a lot of people that this whole industry is a scam and it really isn't built on a huge amount. And again, depending on where your politics sit, there's also a very strong argument for last week. He talked about he will be starting to look at Joe Biden for how he used his name to enrich himself before he became president. I mean, is this any different when you're launching a Trump coin and a Melania coin? At the same time as you've just launched a new head of the SEC, is put in place a head of the SEC who's promised not to have a look at these things. There's a humongous conflict of interest when the task force that's meant to be looking at new digital currencies and new digital currency policy, when they report back to him and when he looks to enact that into law, of course he's going to be influenced by what he's got, right? What he's doing with Trump coin, what he's doing with Melania coin. There is going to be no independence at all around the decisions that are made.
Bringing it back to Memecoin, your advice to Kiwis and anyone considered investing in them?
Be very, very, very careful. Only invest what you're prepared to lose. And before you invest, make sure you do your research. Understand the people that are behind the project. Is it real? What are they trying to achieve? Why do you think it's going to go up? Why do you think it might fall over? Like any investment, you shouldn't just go into it because you've seen something cool on social media. You need to do the work. And if you're unable or unwilling to do the work, to be fair, you're probably better off staying away from it. Just put your money into either Bitcoin or an S&P 500 tracker fund instead. It's going to be a really fascinating time. My real hope, so kind of coming back to Donald Trump, is that he doesn't kill the golden goose. It's an industry that's come a very long way in the last kind of 4 or 5 years. It's gone a long way towards legitimacy. It's gone a long way towards actually mainstream. And I guess my fear is that rolling back regulation, rolling back legislation actually pushes it back away from mainstream. And meme coins, they will flourish in a low regulatory environment, but that's not a good thing because people are going to lose a lot of money on the way through.
That's all for today. The Detail is a newsroom production supported by RNZ and New Zealand On Air. Thank you to Rupert Carline for joining me on this episode, which was produced by Gwen McClure and engineered by Alex Harmer. I'm Davina Zimmer, ka kite anō.